The day my wife signed our divorce papers, she was laughing. Not at me. She didn't even see me. She was on the phone with the man who broke her heart 3 years before we met. The man she never stopped loving. I stood there holding the pen, waiting for her to read what she was signing, waiting for her to look at me, just once. She never did. And that's when I understood something that would change the rest of my life. You can love someone with everything you have. You can build them a home, cook their meals, wash their clothes, pay their bills, hold them when they cry, and still be invisible. Now let me take you back to where it all began. I met Kelly 4 years ago. She was sitting alone in a coffee shop near downtown, crying into a napkin she had twisted into shreds, mascara running down her face, completely devastated. I was just there to pick up coffee before class. I was studying systems engineering part-time while working during the day. I had dreams back then. Real dreams. A career in aerospace. Patents. Building things that mattered. But when I saw her sitting there, something in me stopped. I didn't know her. I had never seen her before. But something about the way she was crying, alone, like the world had ended and nobody had noticed, made me walk over. I asked if she was okay. She looked up at me with red eyes and said 4 words. He left me again. Again. That word stuck with me. His name was Kyle. Kelly told me everything that afternoon. How Kyle had promised her the world. How he made her feel like she was the only person who mattered. Then how he left her 6 months into their relationship because he got a, quote, better opportunity in another city. No warning, no conversation, just gone. Kelly had spent a year putting herself back together, and then 2 weeks ago, Kyle had come back, said he made a mistake, said he wanted to try again. Kelly believed him. 3 days later, he left again. Same excuse, better opportunity somewhere else. Kelly was destroyed. And I, for reasons I still don't fully understand, decided to put her back together. 6 months later, we were married. It happened fast. Too fast, maybe. But Kelly said she needed stability. She needed someone who wouldn't leave. Someone safe. I promised her I would never leave. And I meant it. The wedding was small. Just a few friends. Kelly's father had passed away a year earlier and left her a substantial inheritance. About $800,000. It should have set her up for life. But Kelly didn't know anything about managing money. She didn't know about budgets or investments or even how to pay a bill on time. Her father had handled everything while he was alive. And after he died, she just froze. So I stepped in. I took over managing her inheritance. I invested it carefully, made sure it grew, paid our bills from the returns. I handled everything. Kelly never asked how it worked. She just trusted that money would be there when she needed it. That was the first thing I did for her. It wasn't the last. Kelly didn't cook. She had never learned. Her father had hired someone to cook for the family when she was growing up. After he died, she lived on takeout. So I started cooking. At first, it was just dinner a few nights a week. Then it was every night. Then breakfast. Then meal prep for her lunches. Kelly didn't clean either. Growing up, her father had hired housekeepers. Kelly genuinely didn't know how a washing machine worked. Didn't know you're supposed to vacuum more than once a month. Didn't know how to scrub a bathtub. So I started cleaning. At first, I thought, she's still healing. She needs time. She'll learn eventually. But a year passed. Then 2 years. And Kelly never learned. Because she didn't need to. Or so I thought. Because I was doing everything. Cooking every meal. Doing every load of laundry. Scrubbing every dish. Paying every bill. Managing her entire inheritance. Keeping the apartment running. And somewhere in that second year, I realized something. Kelly didn't see me as her husband. She saw me as infrastructure. Like plumbing. Like electricity. Only noticed when something stopped working. I had put my engineering degree on hold when we got married. I told myself it was temporary. Just until Kelly was stable. Just until she could stand on her own. But every time I mentioned going back to school, Kelly would get anxious. We need stability right now, Mike. Can we afford that? What if something happens? So I stayed. But I didn't stop working. Late at night, after Kelly had gone to bed, After I had cooked dinner and cleaned the kitchen and done the laundry and paid the bills, I would sit at the kitchen table with my laptop. And I would do freelance consulting, systems engineering, process optimization, technical problem solving for companies that needed someone who could think differently. I was good at it, really good. I started making $6,000 a month, then 7, then 8. I used that money to pay our bills, to keep Kelly's inheritance invested and growing, to save quietly in an account she didn't know about. Kelly never asked where the money came from. She never asked what I did all day. But sometimes, she would lean against the doorway and watch me cook, like she was trying to remember something she had already forgotten. She never asked about my dreams or my work or my life. To Kelly, I was just there, like furniture. And for 3 years, I told myself that was enough, that being useful was the same as being loved. I was wrong. Everything changed the night Kyle came back. I was in the kitchen making dinner. Kelly was on the couch scrolling through her phone. Nothing unusual. Then the doorbell rang. I wiped my hands on a towel and walked to the door. I opened it. A man stood there. Tall, expensive suit. Watch that caught the light. Hair styled perfectly. He smiled at me like we were old friends. "Is Kelly home?" he asked. I was about to ask who he was when I heard Kelly's voice behind me. "Kyle?" I turned. Kelly's face had transformed. Her eyes wide, her mouth slightly open. An expression I had never seen in 3 years of marriage. Pure joy. Kelly pushed past me and threw her arms around Kyle. He hugged her back, laughing. I stood in the doorway holding a dish towel, watching my wife embrace another man with more emotion than she had shown me in months. Kyle looked at me over Kelly's shoulder and smiled. "You must be Mike," he said. Kyle stayed for dinner. I had made lasagna. Took me 3 hours. I served it on the good plates. Kyle sat in my chair, at the head of the table. I sat to the side. Kelly couldn't stop smiling, couldn't stop looking at him. "So Kyle," Kelly said, "you're doing well?" Kyle leaned back in the chair. "Very well. Just closed a major deal. Bought a place downtown. Thinking about expanding into Europe." Kelly's eyes glowed. "That's amazing." Kyle glanced at me. "What about you, Mike? What do you do?" I opened my mouth. Kelly answered for me. "Mike helps around the house," she said casually. "He's very good at it." I nodded, because correcting her would require being seen, and I wasn't. Not Mike is studying engineering. Not Mike does consulting work. Not even Mike is my husband. Just, he helps around the house. Kyle nodded slowly. "Useful." That word. Useful. Like I was a tool. Something you only notice when it stops working. I looked at Kelly, waiting for her to correct it. To say something. Anything. She didn't. She just asked Kyle about his car. That was the moment I understood something I hadn't wanted to admit. I wasn't losing her. I had never had her. Kyle became a fixture in our home. He visited 3 times that first week, then 4. Then he was there almost every night, always during dinner, always sitting in my chair, always talking to Kelly like I wasn't there. And Kelly lit up around him in a way she never did around me. I would serve dinner. Kyle and Kelly would laugh. I would clear the plates. They wouldn't notice I had left the room. One night I heard Kyle ask Kelly, "So, how are you two doing financially?" Kelly shrugged. "We're fine. Mike handles all that." Kyle raised an eyebrow. "What does Mike do exactly?" Kelly paused. "I don't know. Stuff at home, I guess." At that exact moment, I was sitting in the next room at the kitchen table, laptop open, solving a complex aerospace engineering problem for a client in California. I would make $4,000 from that one project. But Kelly didn't know, because she had never asked. 2 months after Kyle returned, I started noticing things. Small things at first. Kyle's Rolex. I'm an engineer. I noticed precision. That watch wasn't real. The second hand didn't sweep smoothly. It ticked. Cheap quartz movement. Kyle's business cards. I saw one on the counter. The address was a UPS store. Kyle's car. A BMW. But when I walked past it one evening, I saw the barcode sticker on the back window. Rental car. Kyle wasn't successful. He was performing success. And the frightening part was how easily people believed him, including her. And Kelly either didn't notice or didn't care. One night, I overheard them talking. Kelly's voice came through the bedroom door. "I don't care if you're struggling, Kyle. I never cared about money. Pause. I just want you." I stood outside the door, my hand on the frame. She had never said that to me. Not once in 3 years. I made an appointment with a lawyer. I sat in his office and said 3 words. I want out. The lawyer asked me the standard questions. Grounds for divorce, division of assets, timeline. I answered everything calmly. Then he asked, "Are you sure about this?" I thought about Kelly laughing at Kyle's jokes, Kelly lighting up when he walked in, Kelly introducing me as someone who helps around the house. I thought about 3 years of cooking and cleaning and managing and loving someone who never once looked at me the way she looked at him. "Yes," I said, "I'm sure." But then I thought about something else. I thought about the woman I met in that coffee shop, broken, crying, alone. I thought about the promise I made, that I would never leave. And I realized something. Leaving isn't the same as being left. Kelly left me a long time ago. She just didn't move out. The lawyer drew up the papers. I brought them home on a Tuesday evening. Kelly was on the couch, phone pressed to her ear, laughing. I knew without asking. She was talking to Kyle. I walked over and stood in front of her. "Kelly," I said. She held up one finger. "Not now" gesture. "Kelly, I need you to sign something." She barely glanced at me. "Just leave it there, Mike." She kept talking to Kyle. No, you're so funny." I tried again. "Kelly, please, read it first." She waved her hand, annoyed. "Mike, I'm on the phone. Just, where do I sign?" My chest tightened. This was it. The moment I would know. If she read the papers, if she showed any concern, if she even looked at me for 1 second, I would stop this. I would give her one more chance. I held out the pen. Kelly took it. Didn't look down. Didn't stop talking. "No, Kyle, I'm listening," she said into the phone. Then giggled. She signed the bottom of the first page, pushed the papers back toward me, still laughing at something Kyle said. I stood there. 10 seconds. 20. Waiting for her to ask, what did I just sign? She didn't even pause, like my absence had already been approved. She never asked. I picked up the papers. Kelly's signature was still wet. I walked to the bedroom, pulled my suitcase from the closet, started packing. Kelly's voice drifted from the living room. "I miss you too, Kyle. So much." I closed the suitcase, walked past Kelly. She glanced up. "Going somewhere?" "Yeah," I said. "Okay. Dinner's in an hour, right?" "No," I said. Kelly frowned. "What?" "There's no dinner, Kelly. Not tonight. Not ever again." Kelly looked confused. "What are you talking about?" Kyle's voice came through the phone. "Kelly, who's that?" Kelly spoke into the phone. "Just Mike. Hold on." Then to me. "Can we talk about this later? I'm on the phone." I looked at her. Really looked at her. And I saw exactly what she saw when she looked at me. Nothing. "You're always on the phone," I said quietly. Then I walked out. Kelly called after me. "Mike, where are you going?" I didn't answer. The last thing I heard before the door closed behind me was Kelly's voice. "He's being dramatic. Anyway, what were you saying?" And then her laugh. That beautiful laugh that I had spent 3 years trying to earn. That laugh that was never for me. I walked out of that house with one suitcase. $85,000 in savings Kelly never knew about. And a divorce she had signed without reading. Kelly had $800,000 in her inheritance account. A home I had maintained. Bills I had organized. A life I had built. She thought I had nothing. She thought she had everything. But what Kelly didn't know was that the man she called useful, the man she introduced as someone who helps around the house, had been building something in the shadows. Something she would never see coming. 3 years later, Kelly would walk through a door and find me on the other side. But the man she found wouldn't be the man she remembered. Pause. If you want to see what happened when Kelly and I met again, Watch part 2 now. Drop part 2 in the comments and subscribe to Life Stories with the Innocent, because the invisible husband is about to become impossible to ignore. Thank you for watching.